So we just read advice for those with high communication apprehension. So did you guys know what that meant before you read this? What high communication apprehension was?
Somewhat an idea.
An idea about it? So it's when you're extremely fearful of speaking in communication settings, of speaking publicly. The definition is just the fear of communicating with others. And I did this interview with a person who, by all means, should not be in the position she is in today. She's in a lot of leadership roles. She gives a lot of presentations. She presents every single day. And she's been scared of communicating with others since she was 6 years old. I mean, that does not sound like a person who should be as successful as a professional presenter today. So what did you guys get out of this that you thought was really interesting? Yeah.
The attention span of the audience is 14 minutes.
Yes, that was something she mentioned later on in the interview. The attention span is 14 minutes for the average person. That's why when I put my videos on YouTube, they're about 5 minutes. That's the best way to go about it. But in the classroom, yes, 14 minutes, then have an activity. Then maybe you can do another 14 minutes, then show a video. So you have to change it up so that everyone stays engaged. Anything else you got out of it? Sumi, anything for you?
I liked how she ended with the knowledge is power, but it's not something.
Yes, it's not. Okay, so the quote she said was, "My favorite question to ask students is knowledge power?" She said, of course, their first response is yes. I then remind them, not until your knowledge is communicated effectively. So have you guys ever thought about that before? For people who are scared to speak in public, they might have all this great stuff inside that they want to say, but if they don't feel comfortable or they're too scared to say it to other people, what's all that knowledge going to do? Sure, it'll benefit them, but they could benefit so many other people. So it's something to think about. Now let's see some of the questions I asked her. I asked her how long she'd been performing, of course, all of her life. And she said she found that she just needed to get over this fear. And she's still scared every day, she says. But she needed to get over it because she found herself in leadership roles throughout her entire life, even as a child, in high school, college, even now, in her career. She presents all the time, so you have to get over it at that point. So the thing is, she said to overcome this, she learned deep breathing, and she started using positive imagery, or positive visualization, sorry. And we've talked about that before, right? Speaking, very kindly to yourself. This is going to be great. You're going to do a fantastic job. You're going to get up there. They're going to be really engaged. Did you guys take note of something she said? Let's see, I can't remember which question it was, but she said one key thing that helped her to become less nervous when she was speaking in front of a crowd. And it's one of the most important things when you're speaking. I noticed it in a lot of the papers you turned in yesterday.
Was it a positive attitude?
Positive attitude is great. She said concerning herself more with her audience than with herself is what helped her get over it. That's huge. She said become an other-centered speaker rather than a self-centered speaker. Yeah. And you were saying about those 14 minutes. She said what she does when she gets up to give a presentation, and I told you guys this trick before too, especially when you have a huge crowd, a lot of people you might not know, is you have them introduce themselves first. And it's a great way to break the ice, but it's also a trick for the professional speaker to get a little more comfortable before they have to start presenting. They have everybody else say who they are, and then you're not so fearful of that crowd. They're not strangers anymore, and then it really helps when you give your presentation. That makes sense, right? So something to keep in mind for the future. One of my former students, he gave the commencement address, I believe, here at UCF, and I was there to see it. So he spoke to, I don't know how many people. So if that becomes one of you guys, keep that trick in mind. Maybe go around with the crowd, say hi to everybody, ease the nerves a little bit. Any other last thoughts about the interview with her?
Yeah. According to what I read in the book, I realized that in her past experience really affected the way that she does everything. Like, fear was inculcated into her. But you can overcome this fear by just doing it. She said she has the fear with her, but she'll do it either way. So that's just it.
Yep. She said the fear is always there, it's always going to be there, but she does it anyway. And that's really cool. That's what some people have to do. And this ending part I thought was just great. She said, you know, the last piece of advice she would impart to new students is to love the process of becoming an excellent speaker because it's going to last you all of your life. Your work will never end. It's a personal process of evolving, and this process is endless. Every time she teaches, she said, every time I teach, every time I consult, every time I present, every time I experience public speaking, I am becoming a better communicator. And communication is the foundation of a lot of our lives, our relationships with people, you know, how we do in school, how we do in work. The basis is all communication. So it's a good thing to get a handle on it now while you guys are young and learning to become the best you can be. Anything else? Okay, we're good.